Hey, beautiful. We had another 5-star review come in on the podcast, and I just have to share it with you today. It says, finally some help! Exclamation point. Finally, someone is out there to help the betrayed spouse. Everything seems to be geared toward the betrayer and them getting help. I have been listening to Lisa's podcasts for 16 months now, and they help me so much. Thank you, Lisa, from the bottom of my heart, one of your loyal listeners. Listen, thank you so much for that review. It means so much to us, and this keeps us out in the airwaves with many that need help and healing after they have found out they've been betrayed. And you know, beautiful, you may be one of those newbies, so to speak, that has just recently found out that your husband has betrayed you, or you've been stuck for a while because he is in this yo-yo effect, this ping pong back and forth with the addiction, the sexual addiction, or he goes back and forth with an affair or a meetup, whatever it is, and you are constantly being traumatized, and you're sitting there going, what in the world is happening to me? Well, today on Beauty Beyond Betrayal, we're going to explore what kind of happens to you when you discover that your husband has been unfaithful. So stay tuned. Hey, beautiful. Welcome to Beauty Beyond Betrayal. Have you discovered your husband's been having an affair? Do you just want the pain to stop and be able to take a deep breath again? Do you find yourself up late at night Googling how to save your marriage, heal from an affair? Do you wake up with the hope that this nightmare would end only to feel crushed and humiliated because your husband acts like the affair was really your fault, and now you're left obsessing with where he is and if he's seeing her again? Hey, I'm Lisa. I too was devastated when I discovered my husband was having an affair. I too felt the pain would never end and wished he would just stop the affair and we could restore our marriage. I wanted the weight of the trauma to be lifted so I could breathe again and be able to have someone, anyone, help me climb out of the dark, miry pit of despair so I could begin to heal and be confident in me again. But I kept telling myself, he won't stop seeing her. Must have been my fault. And this pain, it'll never go away. Until I found hope and healing in Christ, along with simple techniques that helped me to learn how to recover from the betrayal. In this podcast, you'll discover what betrayal trauma really is, learn simple techniques to heal and recover, and get biblical guidance to help you make the right choices as you heal from the affair so you can be free from the heartbreak and the pain and rise in confidence once again to be the woman God created you to be. So beautiful, grab your favorite latte or a glass of wine, snuggle up on the couch and focus on yourself for a few minutes. Let's dive into what it really means to rise up from the ashes of betrayal and loss into a life that you really desire. Welcome back to the show, beautiful. It is a rainy day here in Charleston, South Carolina. My dog is absolutely terrified of thunderstorms, and so she is cuddled up on my lap right now, shivering as I do this podcast episode today in her thunder shirt. If you don't know what that is, go to Amazon and look up thunder shirts for dogs. They're really great if you have a little one that is, or a big one for that matter, who's afraid of thunderstorms. And she's cuddled up as we are speaking. So that's my life right now. I'm getting ready to launch a second round of our 3-month coaching program, Beauty or Beyond the Betrayal. And this is for Christian women who are seeking hope and healing after the devastation of betrayal trauma. You've discovered your husband has betrayed you, or you've been stuck in this cycle for months or even years, and you haven't been able to heal through it. Well, this is a great coaching program for you where you can come together with other Christian women who are like-minded, going through the same thing you are, either sexual addiction that their husbands are suffering with and trying to heal from and caught up in that has damaged their relationship, or your husband has had an affair. Either way, you're dealing with betrayal trauma. This gives you the opportunity to heal in community, which research has proven is very effective. And so we are getting ready to jump into that on Monday, and I would love for you to be a part of it. And that's what caused me to do this episode today, because I wanted to speak to some of you who are just finding the podcast, or you've been listening for a while and you've been on the edge. You've been kind of at the teetering point. Should I dip my toe into this healing? Should I really invest in this? What should I do, right? So we're going to talk about what actually has happened to you and give you a little taste of what it's like inside of the program Beyond the Betrayal, because I go into massive detail and help you to understand exactly what betrayal trauma is, how it affects your mind, your body, your spirit, and how to actually heal, a proven roadmap so that you can go into recovery. So today, I want to talk to you about what happens to you when you discover the betrayal, when you discover that your husband has been unfaithful, even whether it is through pornography use or through an affair, be it emotional or sexual. What in the world has happened to you? Well, go back with me, if you will, to the day that I discovered my husband's betrayal. It was April 3rd, 2020. Now, God had been speaking to me since early January of that year, before COVID lockdown. And I remember walking through my bedroom and actually hearing the Spirit of God speak to my spirit and tell me, your husband's broke his vows. And I remember grabbing my stomach in agony going, no, God, this cannot be true. I've heard you wrong. This is just me making up things. I've seen some weird behaviors. Yes, that he has changed dramatically, but there's no way that he would do this to me. Not my husband, not my knight in shining armor, not the one who vowed to me and God and all of family that he would take care of me for the remainder of my life. Like, this is the one I prayed for. This is the one that I know in my heart you said would never hurt me. So how can this be? I remember that. But fast forward to April 3rd of 2020, where all of the physical evidence came flooding in through my email. I was sitting at my dining room table all alone here at home, and I got a phone call. Lisa, your email is waiting for you. Do you really want to open it? And I remember sitting there going, well, just by that statement, it might just have all of the answers that I've been seeking. Probably does. And I remember pulling up my email and staring at it. I got up from my dining room table. I would pace through my house. My heart was racing. It was beating out of my chest. And I would sit back down and I would look at it and almost click. And then I'd get up again and I would walk away. Until finally, an hour later, I hit the button. And all of a sudden, all the evidence was there. It came flooding in like a tsunami. It came flooding in like a hurricane, and it just wrecked my world. The world that I believed was true shattered. It just came crumbling down around me. And it felt like the room was going to implode. It felt like it was closing in. It was strangling me. The darkness started to close in. And I felt like a caged animal. There it was, the love notes. There it was, the social media messages, the emails, the phone records. Everything that I needed. I saw the I love yous. I saw the meetups. I saw everything. And in one swoop, I discovered that my husband had been having an affair with a woman 15 years younger than me for 2.5 years. And I remember feeling like I was going to die. I felt sick, nauseated. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like I needed to run and just get away from it all. There were so many mixed emotions in that moment, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to turn to, what to say, and it was as if I couldn't survive. Beautiful, you may have just said to yourself, you truly understand me, Lisa. Because D-Day can leave you feeling hopeless, angry, dismayed, overwhelmed. It can make you feel like everything in your life up to that point has been a lie. And in reality, it just might be. And there are so many symptoms that we deal with when we find out we've been betrayed. And they can be so many different ones. You can have one, you can have many, and you can have just a complete shutdown. But in that moment, there is so much that comes your way that you may not even realize what is happening to you. So some of the things that can occur when you discover your husband's betrayal first can be a plea for relief. I remember going, God, just please take this from me. I'm not going to survive this. This is going to kill me. I felt like my heart was going to explode. I was screaming. I was angry. I was overwhelmed. I was traumatized. I was hurt. I had it all. I had overwhelm, heartbreak, torment, helplessness, depression, hopelessness, denial, avoidance. There was anxiety and panic that crept in. I felt immobility. It was like I was paralyzed. I couldn't move. Yet at the same time, I wanted to run as quickly as I can and run and get away from it all. I felt restless, confused. There was all of a sudden this unexplained pain that was throughout my body. I felt utter fatigue creep in, uncontrollable rage, anger, and then there is dissociation, where you actually feel like you are having an out-of-body experience. It's almost like you are hovering above yourself, watching this movie unfold right before your eyes. And you know it's you. You're looking going, that's me. But at the same time, you are so far removed from it that you can't believe what you are seeing unfold before your eyes. This is called dissociation. You may have many of those symptoms, beautiful, one or all of them. And these are the symptoms that are associated with what is called betrayal trauma. Now, the discovery of betrayal is not the trauma in and of itself. We often equate it to that, right? We often say the betrayal is the trauma. No, it's not. The discovery of that betrayal is not the trauma. The trauma comes from the body's inability to process what has just happened to you. You see, your body is shutting down. Your body is so overwhelmed by the intake of what you've just experienced, what you have received, all of the information, all of that stuff coming in to where your body is like, I can't process this stuff. The event is way too much for you to process and handle. And that is what actually causes the trauma. You see, beautiful, it's a trauma response to the event of the discovery of the betrayal that has transpired that you can't process. See, beautiful, the reason why it is called betrayal trauma is because it affects your past, your present, and your future. Betrayal trauma is a monster in and of itself. It's unlike any other trauma out there. You see, you can have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. You can have that develop because of a trauma that transpires in your life. I actually dealt with that with the death of my father. My dad died right in front of my eyes and my sister's eyes, and it was very traumatic. It was the most horrific thing that I had ever witnessed. And through that, I developed post-traumatic stress disorder and spent 7 months in EMDR treatment because of that. I would have, these blackouts and just overwhelming panic attacks from that experience. And that was from the day of the trauma, the event of the trauma, the day my dad died in front of me, forward. That is how the trauma generally works. It is from the event forward. It affects you moving forward. Well, betrayal trauma is different because it actually affects your past, your present, and your future. You see, beautiful, your past as what you knew it to be actually isn't. You now look at it through the filter of betrayal. You look at it and say, everything that I thought our relationship was actually wasn't. These things were going on underneath, and oh my gosh, like what was real, what wasn't, what was true, what wasn't. Everything could have been a lie from the beginning of your relationship forward, and it leaves you in total dismay. It also affects your present because now your whole world has imploded and you don't know what to do in the present moment. You don't know which way to turn. You don't know who to talk to, and it paralyzes you. And the third way it affects you is your future. Now your future is unsure. You don't know whether the relationship is going to make it or not. You don't know if you are going to make it or not. So it affects all three. The depth of the betrayal trauma you experience is in direct correlation with how you discovered the betrayal. You see, beautiful, there are three different ways we can discover this. And depending upon how you discover it, depends upon the depth of the trauma that you are going to experience. I see this in and out every day with every client that I work with. Because each client that I work with, whether it's through a group coaching program or a one-on-one private coaching, I see clients have that discovery in one of three different ways. The first way is this, self-discovery. Now, this is where you actually discover the betrayal yourself. This is where you might find phone records. You might stumble across something on the computer that comes up that shows that he's been looking at pornography sites. You might find text messages between him and the affair person, and the list goes on. However, you're the one that discovers it. You are the one who uncovers it. The second way is the betrayer discloses it to you. They give you the information. They come clean, so to speak. They come to you and say, I need to tell you something. And they give you all the information, whether it's pornography use or an affair, but they are choosing to disclose all of that to you. The third way is through drip disclosure. Now, drip disclosure is one of the most traumatic ways that you can discover all the information about the betrayal. Because this is where you're finding out bits and pieces of what has transpired. It's dripping upon you little by little by little. One day you find out that he has betrayed you. And then the next day you find out, oh, no, it was just an emotional affair. That's all he shares with you. He drips out just enough. And then a week later, you find out, oh no, there actually was a kiss involved. And then maybe a couple weeks later, you discover, no, it wasn't just a kiss. No, we've been actually having a sexual affair for 2.5 years. Beautiful, that was my story. I discovered not just through the wealth of information that came in through self-discovery, because I chose to hire somebody to help me with that, but when I approached my husband and I directly confronted him with the information that I had received, it then went into drip disclosure, which was over a course of a few weeks. Little by little, he kept telling me things as I pressed him. And it was like being in a waterboarding incident, being tortured over and over and over again. So depending upon how you discover, depends upon how traumatic the event is going to outcome for you. You see, beautiful, what happens when you discover that your husband has betrayed you is what's called a kairos moment. It is a moment in time that changes everything for you. It is a defining moment. It's almost like time stands still. And we call that kairos. Chronos is where time is continually moving forward. Kairos is where you actually have a moment in time where it stands still. Something so life-changing has taken place, and that's what discovery is. So beautiful, I want to ask you a question. How did you discover your husband's betrayal? Which one was it for you? And what actually is your story? Is your story that your husband has betrayed you through pornography? Has it been through an emotional affair, a sexual affair? You see, it's important for you to take the time to uncover the truth of your story, to acknowledge it, to face it head on. Because the first step to healing is acknowledgement, to come face to face with the reality that you've been betrayed. You can't begin to heal until that has been acknowledged. The second step is to step into investing in yourself, self-care, to really move forward so that you can do what is necessary for your healing journey. Beautiful, you are not crazy. You've discovered that your husband has betrayed you. You've experienced trauma due to his betrayal. And it is vitally important for you to take care of you, to start to begin the process of healing after D-Day. That involves not making any life-changing decisions at this moment right now, because when you are in survival or crisis mode, that is the worst time to make a life-altering decision. You should never allow anyone to push you into making a decision that you don't want to do at this moment, because you don't have to. You need to be informed, educated. You need to have some healing under your belt first before you make a life-altering decision. And you need to be focusing on you. What is it that you need right now? What triage do you need right now? Because you need intensive care for yourself. This is where you take the time to step back and you say, what is it that I need to finally move into a healing journey so that I can recover and make the educated choice and decision that I need to move forward? What is that for you, beautiful? One way that you can do that is to invest in yourself. And you have the opportunity to either get into my group coaching program that is absolutely opening this coming Monday, and you can be a part of that. I have a few spots left. Or you can go below in the show notes. Now that link is below there. You can go and find out all that information, and you can grab one of the last spots available. Get in that so you can start with us on Monday. Or you can also click below in the consult and get a consult with me to see if either the group coaching is fine for you, or do you need intensive care that is hand-holding, which is my one-on-one coaching program, my private coaching where we meet individually and help you that way. And if you're a couple, we can do that too. But beautiful, you've got options, and you need to decide today what you're going to do, because you deserve healing. You deserve the opportunity to get out of the quicksand of the devastation of the betrayal and finally move into healing so you can breathe again, find out who you are again, get rid of the triggers, the ruminating thoughts, and everything that has been inundating you since you found out and discovered his betrayal. Time is now. Invest in you, because beautiful, you're worth it, and there is beauty beyond betrayal. Be blessed. Thanks for stopping by today and spending a little while with me. I hope you enjoyed today's show and found hope, healing, and encouragement. Please remember to subscribe to my podcast and leave a review. You can even screenshot this episode and share it on IG or Facebook stories. This is how we get the message of hope and healing out to all women who are in the midst of betrayal and loss. If you're ready to move out of the devastation of betrayal and take the next step in your healing, make sure to reach out to me and schedule your breakthrough coaching call today. Until next time, love God, live your life passionately, and always choose joy in the midst of any circumstance that you may face. Cheers to you, beautiful.